Finding the right jeans is hard. Accepting your jeans is even harder.
Whether you wear boyfriend or bootcut, high-rise or low-rise, this podcast will teach you to love the jeans you're in. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Tina. And we're going to use modern research to bust diet myths and get real about body after baby.
We're going to take you on a journey of unpacking your old beliefs about food and weight so you can learn to nourish your body and raise body-confident kids.
So put your booty in a chair and let's talk mom jeans.
Welcome back, everybody.
My gosh, we are here. So weird.
Welcome back to Mom Jeans. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. It has been 4 years, 3, I forget. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been long. It has to be as long as my daughter.
True. We took a break when your daughter was born, and she is now
3.5.
So there you go. It's been at least 3.5 years.
Yeah.
We decided when Tina was going to have number 2 to take about a year off. And of course, here we are.
Life happens.
We have missed each other and we have missed you.
So much.
And
a lot has happened.
A lot has happened. There's so many things happening in our lives, in your lives, in the eating disorder field. So we just thought, you know what? Let's reconnect.
So why in the world are we reconnecting? And we do want to tell you that this is a special season, and we will go into details of that and ways that you can listen to this podcast, because we are finding out that this podcasting is expensive. So we have tweaked things. But first, we're going to start, why are we back? Well, because we missed each other and you, and we do have a passion for this work. We love interviewing, learning, and unlearning from other people who have lived experience. We love doing this research and bringing it to y'all and being able to do that kind of deeper, unwinding diet culture beliefs. Talking about kiddos and parenting and eating disorder recovery and being professionals and whatever that may look like. We really miss that. But we also are learning how to set work-life balance. So it is going to be different this season a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I miss having these conversations more casually. Obviously, Tina and I do this full time. These are our careers, having these conversations about finding peace with food, with our bodies, with genetics. I mean, this is our professional work. We're clinicians in this field. And yet we're also parents and friends who have these conversations kind of in our social lives, but they're really challenging conversations to have. And so I kind of miss having this space for people who just want to maybe listen or think about these thoughts a little bit more deeply because they can't talk about it in book club, but they're maybe not sure if they want to go to a therapist about it. I love that we have this bridge space for these conversations. So personally, I wanted to kind of go back to creating this space for you all. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come back.
I know Rachel is really the motivator in this. We were at a friend's wedding a year and a half ago. I don't remember. 2 years
She already
ago,
has
maybe?
a baby, so it's been a while.
It's been a bit. So we were at her wedding and hanging out, and we're like, we miss each other. We want to do this. And then we came up with a bunch of ideas.
It's hard. It's so hard.
And then it kind of fell off again because life is busy and fast. And again, we're really trying to find that balance of this volunteer work because it's not paid. There is no income. We are not famous. So unless we're getting to some high standards, which I don't think exists.
Things is where you just be like, subscribe, follow, except I don't even know what any of that means for us. So.
Me neither. Yeah. So, but here we are. And it's because
Yeah.
Rachel, Rachel's really pushing the motivation. So thanks for lighting the fire under my tushy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're back. We're back with Mom Jeans. We're going to do it in a very real, unfiltered way. We're not going to be
Mhm.
editing as much. We're not going to be on social media as much. We are just going to hit record, have some conversations, interview some people, and hopefully you all hang out with us and get fed. So we're just going to kind of update you today, and then we're going to let you know what our thoughts are moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Tina,
Well,
yes.
I think one update that we should share with our listeners,
Okay.
because it happened while we were on a break, but we were in a legal argument for our name.
That's right. We are officially, drum roll, trademarked.
Trademarked. We were fighting against a company that rhymes with shmoney, me, and Lee's. You get it.
Yeah.
That's not even words.
No.
Who now is going bankrupt. But they were arguing with us on taking our name, which we had registered before them and all this stuff. And so we went into some really entry level legal things.
Not gonna lie, that might be the main motivator for us being back. Like we 3 random years later, we get a letter from our lawyers saying that we have a trademarked name and we have to use it
We had
at
to use it.
least semi-frequently in order to keep the trademark. So
Yeah.
quite frankly, I feel like we're somewhat back just because
I didn't even know that information.
yeah,
So
we
that's
fought
not
so
my
hard to get
motivation.
it. We might as well now use it.
Oh,
So yeah,
so that was really
we're
exciting.
legal, we're official, we're keeping the name Mom
Yay!
Jeans, and we're moving forward with the brand.
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
win. Anyways, okay. That's just
All
a
right,
tidbit.
Tina. It's been
Yeah.
a few years. Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, yeah, I even took some notes because I don't know where I've been.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 3.5 years have been a whirlwind. So like Rachel was saying, we took a break because I was having my second child. It was a girl. She's a girl, so sweet. And she basically looks identical to myself. I produced a mini me. It's so amazing. And that, second baby, that's challenging. I have no idea how you have 3, to be honest. It completely rocked my world. I had a C-section, so recovery time was a little bit more challenging. I also have a group practice, right? So the balance between trying to really focus on this moment in time and life and not living in a country that offers paid parental leave, I had to figure that out. So basically, had a baby, went back to work shortly after managing the group practice, but my whole role changed. I offboarded all of my clients because I just couldn't see clients, take care of 2 kiddos, have a husband that travels for a living, and really manage the group and also be taking care of myself. That was the hard part. Taking care of myself was kind of challenging. I struggled a little bit, struggled with some mental health stuff, depression. And I think it's just a reality of like lack of support in those like really hard times. I don't live near family. And again, my husband travels. So fast forward a 1.5 years, my husband got a job. He works in the film industry and he got a job in Thailand. And he was going to be gone for 6 months. And that my head exploded because I was like, okay.
I remember that was a gnarly time.
Gnarly and hard, really, really hard. So kind of getting through that, there was no way I was taking on any additional responsibilities. I was like barely surviving. But coordinated some support, started with a new therapist, talked with my doctor about some medication support, and then really just rallied some friends to help out. And here we are. He's not in Thailand anymore. That was a year, well, almost in July of this year, it would have been a year. Then he was back. But yeah, that's where I've been at. 3.5 years later, feeling a little bit more like myself. I'll never get to the point of like pre-kids because our bodies and minds have been through this journey with us. But I feel like I'm closely getting to the space where maybe physically and mentally I feel more like myself and can become more into the creative space. My overall intention for kind of coming back and starting this again with Rachel is really trying to give y'all, and we'll talk about it a little bit more towards the end, but give y'all more of like the raw, unedited version. So you'll see that like we are not editing this podcast moving forward, at least for this season. It takes a lot to edit it, and I was the one kind of doing the soundbite editing. So we are not editing. And we are actually going to put up raw video footage on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to see the ins and outs, the raw, the real. We're really trying to be transparent and also do this work without adding additional tasks. So yeah, we're going to dive into real life topics, talk about our birth stories, stigmas, our kids' struggles, and all those things. So that's where I'm at. That's why I'm here. And I'm excited. Really excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that what you said about you're not back to your pre-body or your pre-baby mindset because there's no back to go to. You just move
There is no
forward.
back.
Yeah, you evolve. You've evolved and move forward, and here's your
Right.
new evolved version of yourself.
I do feel like that's a lot of the client work that I've experienced and experience with my staff, where they're talking with clients and clients are sharing, I want to go back to this pre-baby body or this pre-baby space. And that's, I think, the work that needs to be done, that deep-rooted work where it's like, but there is no pre anymore. We can honor that as a life space, a life tier that existed and happened and really had relevancy in our growth, in our body stories, but we can't take it away. We can't erase it. And so our work and responsibility and respect towards our body is being able to honor that past and figure out now how in the present we can really move forward and engage in our respectful self. Oh, look what I'm doing to my microphone. Don't do
She's
it.
not editing it out.
I would have edited that out, but
cover
I'm
your
not.
ears for a minute.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we can't erase what happened. And this can go in many aspects. It can go with trauma, it can go with different pregnancy stories, it can go with our body changes. We'll dive into that this season, but our work is really recognizing that our body has taken us through this journey. It is a gift, and it may be really hard work, but we can do it. We can get to that space of respect and trust. So
Yeah.
what about you, Rachel?
Well, I talk about things as far as chapters. So that's kind of where my brain is going when you're talking. Like you had a chapter of this, then a chapter of that. And then you keep adding on chapters though. And you can't write the next chapter without the previous ones. The story doesn't make any sense. So that's how I view life. But so let's see. The chapter that I went through the past couple years, when we paused the podcast, I mean, I was so fully invested in our mission. However, right around that time, COVID, post-COVID, I'm not sure if all our listeners know, but eating disorder calls and eating disorder diagnosis went up 70%. I mean, COVID really impacted people's relationship with food in their bodies. And so the calls for therapy went through the roof. So
Yeah.
I was able to launch a group practice because our society was shifting and needing more support. And I've had a couple associate therapists, even a couple dietitians kind of cycle through working with me and alongside of me. And I mean, I've loved it. I did not feel alone in private practice, but in retrospect now, I realize how much having the camaraderie of other people around has really filled me in a whole new way. So, I mean, technically I'm hiring all these associates to to be trained under me, and yet I feel like they're teaching me way more than I'm teaching them. I mean, I have just feel like
Yeah.
I've grown so much as a clinician and a human, and I just absolutely have loved it. So the business part of group practice is not my favorite. I actually call Tina a lot because her brain is fabulous, and mine is like I barely survived the one stats course we had to take in psych class. So business wise, I'm a hot mess. Clinically, I'm pretty happy. So,
Fabulous. Yeah.
here we are. Um, so yeah, I think I really do feel the universe though, after a couple years of really building a business, pulling me more back into the clinical, hence feeling like I have some energy for the podcast again, because I want to have some of these more clinical conversations that are more about people and their feelings. So I'm not sure if listeners are familiar, but I have really been diving into what's called IFS, Internal Family Systems. It's a psychotherapy model that views the personality as like a system of all these interconnected parts we have. And it basically sits with clients, and I've sat with myself in my own therapy doing this work, kind of understanding the different parts of ourselves that interact with the world. There are wounded parts, there's protective parts. Obviously, this leads itself perfectly to this concept of eating disorders, of a desire to diet, because we have this part of us that just wants to potentially fit in with our society or be accepted or be in control of something. So I've really loved having a new lens on this work clinically. And personally, I've grown a lot doing my own work in this and understanding all the different various parts of myself.
Mhm.
So I am kind of going to be coming into the podcast keeping that psychotherapy lens as we have some of these conversations and kind of understand why we're attracted to diet culture messaging, why it's so hard to raise kids, all the different voices and parts of us that react to our children when they do things, react to our partners, react to our bodies. Like there's so many layers to always be unlayering as we do this work. And so that's kind of the space I'm hoping to provide in this little duo that we have.
I love it. I'm going to chime in. So, because you bring up these voices, and my husband's about to go on another job for 2 months, the whole summer. He's going to be on the whole summer, which
Oh,
is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It is the life. It's fine. It's fine. I got.
don't tell a therapist it's fine. We won't let you stop
Don't
there.
worry. I talked to my
Okay.
therapist
Okay.
about this.
I'm not your therapist, so I'm glad you're fine.
Yeah. So I went with a girlfriend on like a staycation with an hour away from where we live to just like have a little like mom getaway. And it was just her and I. We went, and it's like so nice. We have nothing to do, no plans, nowhere to go. No one's going to wake us up. And then at the same time, I'm like, I miss my kids. It's like this push and pull. I miss my kids so much. And at the same time, like I so desperately want to be away just to have this like quick recharge, and that like back and forth in both of our brains. It was just literally like mental torture. I was able to quickly turn it off and be like, it's okay. They're okay. I will see them in 48 hours or less than. But it's hard, y'all. It's real hard,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
But
good
also
for
like
you.
miss them deeply. And then when I was back, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. You're like,
go
just kidding.
back.
Where's the pool? I want to lay by it again.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what are your kids doing? You have like older kids.
I know my kids are growing up. It's wild. I have my oldest is going to high school next year.
That's weird. I remember when you were pregnant with him.
I know. I know. It's so wild. And yet
That's weird.
it's exhausting. I actually really am in one of my busiest phases of life, even though they're independent, because
Don't tell
I'm
me that.
basically an Uber driver for all their sports and events. But I also physically get a full night's sleep, which is such a game changer for mental health. So it's just I hit me the other day. I was like, oh my goodness, I have not wiped a butt in a while. Like I know that was wild. I thought I might just wipe butts forever. Like I just thought
Yeah.
this is it. This is my new life. And turns out they can mostly shower by themselves. Um, they're somewhat physically independent. So, I mean, they argue nonstop. The sibling rivalry is huge. I still have to help with a lot of homework. My son
Uh,
does that whole thing where he's like, "What? I don't know why the assignment's missing. I turned it in." And I'm like, "Okay, well, on your portal, it's missing." Like, I get
it's a whole
gaslit
new
on
set
a
of
daily
problems.
basis. But right now, um, I hit my 40s, which I've always heard that when you turn 40, you're in your 40s, you kind of get to this space where you truly just stop caring what people think, and it's real. I really feel like I've just kind of gotten into a groove of going, I'm doing my thing. I love my work. I love parenting. It's a lot easier now, physically, emotionally, obviously still challenging. I really can see the draw to this middle age space that I always kind of, quite frankly, dreaded because of diet culture messaging. And yet, turns out it's pretty freeing.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to have conversations with my friends that are less about babies and pregnancies and more about premenopausal symptoms.
Oh
It's
my
wild.
gosh. You're
I know
turning
it's
into
wild.
your
It happens
mother.
fast. I know it happens so fast, y'all. We're talking about wrinkles and period cycles changing and like it's just it, and yet our bodies are always changing, which always circles us back to this podcast and this conversation, right?
Right.
Like genetics in our bodies are always shifting and changing, and there's a new challenge, a new question, a new curiosity, and a new way to figure out how to take care of ourselves in every single chapter. So
Mhm.
we will just keep having all the conversations about all the chapters.
I love this chapter analogy. I
Yeah,
really do.
it's a good
I
one.
call it life tears and yours is chapters.
Oh, yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
I love it. Yes. Well, I can't wait. See, I don't want to rush it, but also a full night's sleep.
Yeah, it feels good. Then again, my daughter did sleep in my bed last night, so don't get your hopes up too far. She's 11.
Oh my gosh. My children, my Henry would sleep in my bed if I let him. He's the best snuggler, and I could sleep if he's in there. My
Yeah.
daughter, no, she sleeps sideways. I think as they get older, they start sleeping more
Yeah.
perpendicular to the bed, right? Or parallel, whichever one it is. Um, so yeah. But anywho, we digress. So let's talk about this season. What the heck are we doing? So yeah, this season is called The Real Deal. And here's the tagline. Get ready. The Real Deal, where real bodies, real parenting, and real talk collide. That's
I
some
love
good
it.
writing right there.
Thanks.
So
ChatGPT did it.
no, she's joking. The real deal. This is going to be hard. The Real Deal series is where we get honest about bodies, messy and complicated genes, and letting go of diet culture. So we're trying to raise body trusting kids while healing our own stories in the process. And we know it's not easy. You are not alone. So we are here to remind you we're in this together, one real conversation at a time.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
I
AKA,
love it.
it's a great marketing ploy on the fact that we don't want to edit this podcast. So you're gonna get
True.
the real version of us.
Yep.
The other part of the real deal is that we want this space to be inclusive and include all perspectives and lived experiences. This is something that's been important to us from the get-go, from season one, and continues to be very important to us. We are white cis women. We identify with the word mom, and yet we know not everyone does identify with that word mom. And we know that our perspectives only come from our lived experiences. We're also eating disorder treatment professionals, so we have a little bit of a clinical angle on a lot of things. So, since this is who we are, we're going to continue to create this space in podcast land to have these conversations about food, nutrition, bodies, body image, diet culture, and everything. However, we will also be sharing the space with others whose lived experiences, perspectives, and approaches to food, nutrition, living life in their bodies are different than ours because there's no other way we know how to have that conversation, quite
Mhm.
frankly.
Yeah.
So we would welcome your thoughts, your feedback on topics you want to hear from us, people you want to hear from, perspectives you'd like to hear from. I mean, we absolutely want to create the space and then step back and step forward and just share this space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we want to let you know that it may not be ideal, but there is no rhyme or reason or method to when we are releasing the episodes. And this is really meant for our own mental health. We want to be able to push forward and pull back when we really need to. So there is not a scheduled date for how often we will release the episodes. But we've paralleled it with, hey, this is just like parenting, right? So
every day is different. You never know what you're going to get.
You are
know
old
there's gonna
children.
Be a new podcast, streaming, or silence.
Yeah. We've also like decided not to put effort into the Instagram because it's hard, y'all. There is no possible way for us to keep up with it. The required effort in order to stay in someone's algorithm is, I don't know, Rachel, that was mostly all your efforts. It's almost impossible and not good for our mental health. So we are going to post.
Just spread the word.
Spread the word.
If you like it, spread the word.
Yeah, you're going to be able to access us on really free-ish platforms, even though Instagram is free, but it's not free for our mental space. So it's going to be on all like podcast hosting places. And then again, the video and live is on YouTube. And so we'll link that all in the show notes so you could be able to find it. But that's kind of where we're at, what we're going to do. And yeah, we did it.
Thank you for hanging in there with us. We hope that this is a space that you are excited to jump back into with us. And our email's still there. Turns out that hung out.
So
if you want to email us suggestions, we would absolutely love it. momjeanspodcast@gmail.com.
I was like, what's the email? The website is gone. The website's gone. I was cursing that.
Just email us.
Yeah.
And tune in and we will see you all around.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.